hello, and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 309. Yes, we can ban for July 28th, 2024. From Zenatta Consulting, I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
Yes. Here we go, Tyler, another show. What do you think? I'm growing into a goat.
Kind of liking it. Yeah, it makes you look distinguished.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like at least 70% gray, and I don't dye my hair, so it's a little disturbing, you know? I thought...
a little foreshadowing.
I thought it would, yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty sure that's it all the way around. But we have a big show today. I feel like I'm back on track. By the way, this shirt, this is what we wore at the booth at Zoholics this year, where we won Partner of the Year. Have I ever mentioned that? Have we mentioned that?
I think so.
Year. It's nice. It's good. And content excellence. Yes. A lot of that has to do with you, as we will see when we go through the show here a little bit today. All right. Well, let's get right to it. Before we get to the news, here's a quick word from our sponsors, us.
This episode of the CRM Zen Show is brought to you by ZPortals. ZPortals is a must-have extension allowing you to effortlessly coordinate with clients and partners. We configure ZPortals all the time for our clients who are looking for the best portal solution. And boy, do we love how easy it is to customize and the flexibility to connect to multiple Zoho apps. So don't wait. Check out ZPortals today and be sure to mention Zenatta to get 10% off your first month.
All right. Tyler, I had a 75% chance on the intro of getting it right that the ad would be one of ours, but it wasn't. It was from ZPortals. So there we go. I never know what Freddie's going to do. Anyway, so by the way, you should check out ZPortals. It was great seeing that entire team at Zoholics as well. All right. Diving right into the news. Over at Bigin, you can now have formula fields that are performing dynamic calculations. You can do this inside of Zoho CRM. For some reason, I thought you could do it inside of Bigin, but I guess you couldn't until now. So it's nice update.
Yeah, and these are really commonly used. Like for more complicated calculations, you may want a script or something in analytics, but Bigin is kind of designed around simpler use cases. So being able to create just various different formulas, whether it's something like full name, right, and you're just concatenating first space last, or if it's doing some math to give you pricing or expected commission, there's a ton of different use cases where formula fields are a good solution. Again, they're always just going to be a little less robust than a script, but they're a lot easier to set up. So it seems like a, hand in glove fit for Bigin, where a lot of people don't want to do anything that crazy or complicated. They might just need a quick calculation that gets done for them.
Yeah, very nice. And oftentimes you want to fill in a field. You just want to have like a month field or something like that. Like what month? All the clients we signed up this month, this year kind of thing, right? Maybe you've got a date. This allows you to do that. There's a lot of great little use cases for this across the board. So good to see that added into Bigin, which is getting bigger and bigger as the years roll on. Thank you, Freddie. Very nice. All right, moving right along. You now have bulk additions to subforms via lookup and subform permissions in Zoho CRM. Subforms were released in 2019. They were a really, really big deal when they came out. It allows you can have 2 per page. I think 100 lines or 200 lines. I think 7 across or something like that. Basically allows you to have a nice little place where you can just kind of stack data around various things. More and more it seems like we've moved away from subforms and are just going into related lists and pulling those in and custom modules and doing those kind of things. You get around a lot of the limitations of subforms, but they can be exceptionally useful. And looks like this is just another way of adding to that usefulness.
Yeah, so the 2 main updates here, one of them is really nice. So one of the main times that we will use a subform is maybe someone wants to generate like a quote or a proposal from a deal. And users prefer subforms over related modules. So if it's pretty simple data, we are still comfortable using the subform for it. One of the points of feedback that Zoho's always gotten on subforms is I have to add each row one at a time. So imagine you're like picking some products, right? Like you pick product 1, pick product 2, pick product 3. Now you can essentially add multiple rows. So I could say like, I'm going to pick these 5 products and then I'll go through and put the quantity and what I'm going to sell it for. But I just want to get all the product selection done all in one go. It now supports doing that. So that'll just be a lot easier. I mean, for some people, it's like, hey, my quotes have 2 products. For some people, they've got 40, right? So being able to just more easily mass select those will be really nice. You will still need to go through each row and add like the rest of the data, but it definitely saves a step. What they've also done as well is add some additional permissions management in terms of subforms. So you'll now have the ability to control users' ability to view, create, edit, and delete subforms, as well as controlling particular subform fields. So really nice. Last one as well, those portal permissions are going to apply to, or subform permissions are going to apply to client portals as well. So if you're enabling any access for a client, you'll be able to control what they can do with a subform. Like a really good one would be like, hey, don't let them edit and delete them. Like if they're going to log in and see a quote, they shouldn't just be able to go like, no, I don't want that. They should have to communicate that through you. So that'll be nice to see. We do use subforms pretty commonly still. So any functionality there, we're always going to enjoy it.
Yeah. Nice job. Nice job. This is clearly, like you said, so many people are using this for creating quotes and those kind of things. And, this focus seems to be very, very much around that. So nice job, CRM team. And also from the CRM team, I like this a lot. So they've made some upgrades to the dashboards in CRM. Now, I know you live in analytics, Tyler, but I like my CRM dashboards. I love them. And there's just some really cool things. My favorite one they've done here is, so you can now share dashboards and they can be locked for increased security, which is great because oftentimes I create a dashboard, there's some things you can't do there that you might want to do as far as locking it up. That's nice. But the large numbers shown in a more user-friendly way is, it may seem minor, but when you're like us and you're in the billions of dollars, and you've got all of these things, including the cents at the end, Now, seriously, even if you get, into $10,000, $20,000, $100,000, you're trying to display that on a dashboard, millions of dollars on a dashboard. It really does. It's a bit of a mess. And if you're watching this on YouTube, they show a before here of the entire, number displayed on these charts.
0, because those pennies really matter on the $13 million that they're showing here, right?
When you're looking at a dashboard, for sure. And then if I scroll way down, they don't do an after immediately on this, but if I keep going and I keep going and I keep going, they're showing you how to make the changes to it. It cleans it up into what you'd like to see, right? Show it in millions and just kind of take it. So you took 13.8 million and it just is 13.81 M. And so it really cleans up your chart, gives you a much better view. I'm loving this. You can also display the number of records along with a metric in your KPIs. So this is super, super useful as well. So when you're showing like your total, if you're watching this again on YouTube, they're showing a total revenue was $1.67 million. And how many records made that up? Again, going to be exceptionally useful on these dashboards. I mean, I'm just really looking forward to cleaning ours up. Is this available now? It looks like it's available now.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
I know what you're going to do. Yeah. I know what you'll be up to later today.
Yeah. Well, I should let you do it. It's going to take me probably 2 hours. You probably get it done in 15 minutes, but that's, that's it. I'll get it done. I'll figure it out. Anyway, moving right along. Again, great job, CRM team. More CRM stuff. This one is a big one. You can now ensure better email deliverability in Zoho CRM. They're actually using uniform domain authentication across Zoho services. This was always kind of a pain in that you had every single one had different authentications, different DKIM records, different SPF, and now they're kind of unifying all of that. So it's going to make life very easy from an email authentication standpoint.
Yeah, and there is one update. If we go down to the bottom one that I do want to kind of put a PSA on. So inside of Google and Microsoft, primarily Google, this one here, this one click unsubscribe. So what this is Google is now kind of recommending that promotional emails have this little unsubscribe tag at the top of the email. And that's for all promotional emails. The way that Zoho has interpreted this, I think, is a bit of a challenge, because what this will mean is any mass email, they're going to put that unsubscribe link at the top, and that would check the email opt-out inside of CRM. The problem is that a mass email would be, I look at 2 leads, I send those 2 leads an email to book with us. That's now considered a promotional email, where really that's a transactional email, right? It's not marketing. It's a direct email to a person who got in touch with us. So the challenge there is, if someone were to unsubscribe, let's say, who is actively doing business with you, that would turn off your ability to send like an invoice reminder, right? A meeting confirmation, right? Like a lot of these things that you are going to send from CRM. What Zoho really needs to do, if you're listening, Zoho, is there needs to be, I get that they have to do this, right? To be clear, like I understand that unfortunately this is a bit out of their hands. Google's requiring it, therefore you kind of have to do it. But I think a few things. One, they need to refine their definition of a promotional email. That could be done on a per template basis, right? You could have to call a template transactional or promotional. There should also be dual unsubscribe. Like you can't force an opt-out to transactional emails because someone didn't like marketing. Because if they've done business with you, it is totally reasonable that you need to reach out to them to make certain things happen. So I'm hoping that they refine this one quickly, because it's going to be a pain in the butt. Like I'll tell you, like when I go through our leads, I send the emails one by one now. I never will do it again, because you can't allow that for something that isn't marketing.
You could just, in the CRM, they have email opt-out as a default field. Just create one called promotional email opt-out. We went through this years and years ago. This was a problem with Zoho campaigns when it was tied into CRM, where a person would basically unsubscribe from a newsletter, which would then mark them as email opt-out in the CRM, even though you're doing business with them. And they're like, hey, I never got that invoice. I never got those updates you were sending me. Well, because they never went out because you blocked us because you unsubscribed, which was not their intention at all. Right?
No.
They just decided.
And I think this is going to be a similar issue here in the way that this is configured right now.
Simple fix, though. Just create 2 opt-out fields inside the...
Yeah, it just has to be done by Zoho, because this is going to be system default functionality. But yeah, there needs to be a second one, and they need to do it as soon as humanly possible, because this is going to cause people... I mean, certain clients we work with, we make a sale, there's like 9 months of work and communication and documents before that's done. If they unsubscribed once at any point, the whole process would fall apart, right? So it's an important one that they do a fast follower here and make a different type of opt-out that this will hit.
But on a whole, very, very nice updates. So excellent. All right, and moving along with the news. By the way, we probably deleted or not. We're not talking about another 8 stories that are in the news. It was a very busy news week. So you will want to make sure you subscribe to our newsletter, where all of the news is covered, because all those are in there as well as links to anything that changed. We have been waiting for this, I don't know, since the very first day I used Zoho for this to happen. But also in CRM, the Kanban views for meetings, calls, and tasks are being updated so that they are now what normal people would consider a Kanban view for tasks, which is maybe you've got, I haven't started it yet. It's open. It's in progress. It's on hold. It's completed. All the various task stages you may have. You actually can now have a Kanban view where you can view your tasks through their progression and move them through their progression, which is just really a major update. We've talked that we thought this was coming for a very, very long time, because they split up the activities module, into meetings, calls, and tasks and appointments. Before it was one, and since you had so many different status fields that you could have for each one of those, it was impossible to have a proper Kanban view. They broke them apart about a year and a half ago, I want to say, maybe. And now seems that way. And now we're here. So you actually can customize and build out your Kanban views in how you would like to see them based on a particular field. So the release date on this, that we're going to keep us posted as the release date approaches. July 22nd is what they're saying they're going to discontinue. And when are they continuing? In July, the end of July. So if they're going to discontinue the old Kanban views on July 22nd, I'm going to say July 21st.
Probably. One would
end of July here, so you can't get much more by there.
Now, this is a very meaningful update. I mean, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can see in the image down below, the way that it used to group them was basically by the module it was connected to. So it'd show you like tasks related to contacts, tasks related to deals, and it's like, cool, that's fine, but like, where are they at in the process? And so being able to just customize that's going to be great to see. I think a lot of people will be very happy with this.
Really is. I'm stoked. These 3 weeks can't go fast enough. So, all right. And still going on with the news. Tyler, you had to explain this one to me before the show, but because I thought this existed. But UTM tracking and multilingual support for Zoho Forms integration with CRM. It's the CRM part I meant, because Zoho Forms has always had UTM tracking. But basically, they are allowing you to embed UTM tracking fields in Zoho Forms. This is where you click on a link and you basically understand where that link initiated from. So you're able to put attribution to that click. So explain this to me. It didn't exist in Forms that you embedded in CRM and sent out?
Yeah, you've always had the ability to activate UTM tracking for a form that's embedded on a site. Someone clicks through an ad, they fill out the form, all that data will route into CRM. This is like a UTM integration for when you're sending a form out via email, which we do all the time, right? Like, hey, please provide a little extra info so we can make you a quote, whatever it may be. Now you're essentially able to map some of those additional UTM parameters when you add that link to a form that will capture more data. So like the example that they used is like the region. Right. Because obviously when you send a form via an email, there won't be like an ad campaign associated. Like you could hard code one if you knew it was related to a certain marketing push. But some of those additional UTMs, they're now going to essentially enable you to track. So really nice. No downside here, really. You can still do exactly what you've been doing with the forms on the site. This is just one extra little tool to send them out and get some more parameter information when you're delivering a form via an email.
And you can also now have it automatically translate the form into different languages based on regional preferences, which is kind of cool. So,
it's really nice.
And translations have gotten better and better and better and better and better. It's crazy. It used to be when you were like on a web page and you use Google to translate the page, it was always a bit of a mess. But I don't know if you've noticed, it's gotten really good lately.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
it's really good now. Yeah, I had actually a prospect came in that does business in U.S. and Quebec, and their website had a bunch of French on it, and I did the Google Translate toggle, and it was like perfect. I didn't see any grammar errors. Now, I don't know the French side, so I couldn't really audit it fully, admittedly, but everything that came out on the English side sounded great, like as if it was a good translation. So it's getting scary good.
It really is. And moving on with the news, kind of a small little thing, but if you are using Zoho WorkDrive, and you're using TrueSync, which is basically a desktop application that syncs to WorkDrive in the cloud, you can pull it down locally. You can just look at things virtually. It's a very powerful app. It's especially great if you're going to be offline, because you basically can have the whole WorkDrive folder sitting on your desktop if you have enough storage and you're setting it up that way. You actually can now do much more. You can create and manage team folders directly within the TrueSync app, which is kind of nice. So you can just kind of live on your desktop and do it that way. So
why not?
Yeah, you used to be a total like non-web guy. With Gmail, you had some crazy.
I had my little Kiwi is what I used to use. Kiwi. Yeah, Kiwi.
Yeah.
I still do like desktop apps more if I can, but I don't want to store the data, right? So like for me with WorkDrive, I would probably use OneSync. Different from TrueSync in that OneSync does not actually sync the files. It syncs a file reference to your directory. But Yeah, this is really nice. So one of the cool things about TrueSync is that it's an automatic backup. So if you do have like enough storage, like sure, yeah, have all that fun in WorkDrive, but imagine in the future, in 5 years, you do change platforms. I don't know who would ever want to leave Zoho. But if you ever did, now you do have all those files locally, regardless. So even just as a backup tool, like I think you've got TrueSync running for our WorkDrive, right? Just some box on your desk, basically, as a just in case type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got like a 3 terabyte remote hard drive, and basically it just backs up 100% of everything that lives in there. Yeah. So super, super nice. All right. And moving on, wrapping. Is that it? Got one more?
I think that's it for news. Yeah.
That's it for news. With that, Tyler, I guess let's get to our implementation of the week.
All right. So implementation this week was built out by Tom, and I think Wayne, our director of marketing, plugged in and helped a little bit. This is just UTM tracking via Zoho LandingPages and Zoho Forms. So essentially, we started working with this client who was already using landing pages. They liked that. The look and feel was working great for them, but they were just having issues kind of connecting all the dots of like, how do I get this Google Ads data in? Where am I going to put it in CRM? What does that flow look like? And so first thing we noticed, they were using the CRM web forms inside of landing pages rather than a Zoho form. What we have found is that the native Google Ads plugin for CRM that ties directly to the CRM web forms is a bit lacking and a little inconsistent. So first thing we did was essentially recreate their forms inside of Zoho Forms. That was quick and easy. These are like landing page forms, right? They're not like 40, 50 fields. Super quick. We just swap them out for those. Then we enabled the UTM tracking on the Zoho Forms themselves, which kind of provides you like hidden fields, as well as a tracking code snippet that can be added to a page that will essentially on-page load, look at the URL, grab the relevant UTM parameters that you kind of named and defined, and then put them into those hidden fields on the form so that they're submitted along with the data into CRM. Then basically just go into the back end of the integration settings and make sure that those fields are mapped. We have people get tripped up on that pretty often. We're like, they've got the tracking code, they've got the fields on the form, but they never went back into the integration and actually mapped them to fields inside of CRM. They will not automatically go. You do have to still line them up. And now that all that data will just flow directly into the lead upon submission. We do always like to make a habit of mapping those UTM values to convert over to the account, contact, and deal. Interestingly enough, the contact is actually the most important place to map them because not everybody creates a deal when they convert a lead. And so worst case scenario, you always want them on the account because you can pull the report from there later. And then really next steps will be, as we've done before, get that Google Ads data, pull that into Zoho Analytics, pull the CRM data into Zoho Analytics, and then slice it up however we want to show ROI and return on ad spend.
Very nice. So when you're talking UTM field mapping and to map those hidden fields, it's straight in Zoho Forms, right? The mapping.
Yeah, just in the normal integration settings, they just now show up.
You're just writing to a hidden field inside Forms, and then we're just mapping.
Yeah, exactly. Like it just adds the hidden fields for you when you turn on the UTM mapping, but it's all that they are, just fields that aren't displayed to the submitter of the form.
Fantastic. Nice job, JP. Well, nice job, Tom, I should say. Good job. There we go. With that, let's talk about JP and go take a look at our code share of the week. See what I did there, Tyler? I messed up and just corrected it. I was actually reading JP's name right here on the screen. So JP has written an overview of the Deluge code snippet for tracking deal stage history. So what are we doing here, Tyler? What is JP got going on?
So the little stage history option inside of the deals is really useful. There's a lot of different cases where you may want to use it, but it's not super obvious on like how exactly you're going to access that data via script. So like an example would be if a deal moves to close lost, someone might want a script that will look immediately at the previous stage it was in and see how long it was in that stage. right? Because like, let's say it was in the quote stage for 20 days, then it moved to closed lost. A sales manager might want to review that with the salesperson and go, did we follow up on that quote enough? Like, why was it sitting in this stage for so long, right? Like, there's all those questions that you may have depending on that info. Where like, if I send out a quote, 2 days later, I moved to closed lost, it's like, oh, they said no to the quote. It's not like this thing kind of just sat out in the ether and then we lost it. So sometimes you just have those like audit or management activities that can connect to the actual movement of a deal through stages. And so really like what we're doing here is reviewing through those, just showing how to get that data, how to then kind of pull it out of the deal and use it in a script to do other things. So pretty useful here and pretty just, I won't say annoying, but not obvious how you need to reach in and get the data. So we thought it would be a good one to publish just in case, again, anybody in the future is running into the same roadblock.
Yep. Very, very, very useful. Yeah. It's funny.
Another case, maybe if you're just in CRM and you don't have analytics, because analytics will pull in stage history automatically. If you're not in analytics, it's really difficult to report on it. So for some people, they might say, hey, when a deal is closed won or closed lost, take the full stage history and just put it in a module so I can pull reports on it more easily. Again, if you have Zoho Analytics, don't do that. You can just check a box, it'll sync over. But not everybody does, right? And it still is really useful data for your reporting needs.
If you don't know, our CodeShare library is just growing and growing and growing. I find it fascinating. I noticed this week alone, it seems like one of the devs was saying, hey, does anybody know how to do this? And someone would just refer them to the CodeShare.
Yeah.
It's like our own CodeShare. And if you don't know, our CodeShare lives over at clubzenatta.com, club.zenatta.com. And basically that is our online community. We would love it if you would go in and join and participate in the community. We have everything there. All of the events that we're doing are tracked there. Basically, you can ask questions for Azaz, which still doing it. Azaz still lives. It looks like we've got 3 new questions since I last looked. All of the news that Tyler and I talk about, that's posted here at kind of a real-time basis as well. Again, all of our code shares here. So all we ask for is your email. There's no charge. Come join the community. We would love to have you. And with that, let's see what's new over at Zenatta.com. So, Tyler, I've been hearing people talk about this Zoho CRM for everyone. Evidently, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Zoho announced this at Zoholics. And since then, Tyler has been rapidly putting video after video after video together as to everything that you might want to do when this change happens. And so
some things you should do before this change happens.
Some things you need to do before. So we have this article basically breaks down really everything you've been working on. So the initial video, which is talking about, CRM for everyone.
I kind of made like a full tutorial on it. The second video, like genuinely, you don't need to watch the whole thing, watch it on 2x, but you should watch this video on what you need to do before CRM for everyone. There's just a lot of configuration things like adding workflows and layout rules are being brought into the front of the UI rather than hidden behind a couple menus. So if you have a bunch of users and they're on the standard profile, this is your call to action to make a new profile for them. Otherwise, they're just going to stumble onto creating automations. And you don't really want that just happening without oversight. And the last one here is just a deeper dive into Teamspaces in particular. I kind of covered them lightly in the first video, but thought it would be good to go a little deeper because it's one of the bigger configuration things that's going to be new inside of CRM for everyone.
All right, so we have a whole article. You can read that over here over at Zenatta.com. And while you're at Zenatta.com, don't forget about our resource library. That is where we break down all the Zoho apps. You can go through and scroll through them. And, if you click into any one of them, everything we've ever done is categorized here. So everything we have around CRM, all the resources, getting started. It's a great place to look. You confused about what Zoho bundles you should be getting? Well, under resource library, you click on the bundles. We break down every single bundle, including Zoho. We've got them all. And so you can kind of see what's in each bundle, what the pricing is on each one of those bundles, all the applications that are included in those bundles. It all lives over at Zenatta.com. So stop by, pay us a visit. While you're there, subscribe to our newsletter. And with that, let's head over to YouTube and look at our tip of the week. Well, we just talked about these, Tyler.
Yeah.
But basically, this week you dropped not one but two tips. Do this now to prepare for CRM for everyone, which is really talking about all the security settings and everything you need
profiles
to do.
And roles. Yeah, you gotta come in here and set these up. You could get away with not doing it before. It's pretty much a need. Nowadays, at least the profile part, even if you don't care about the roles, you don't care about team modules, okay, just so I can sleep well at night, go in and change your profiles so people can't just do crazy stuff, because they just wouldn't have found it before. Now they're going to find it. They're going to stumble on making fields required, making an email automation incorrectly, and it sends the same email 10 times, all that type of stuff. So just go in there, make a profile, turn that off, move everyone over to it. That's the abridged version of this video for the podcast listeners.
Yep. And then you did, as we just talked about, you kind of really go through and do a big detail on Teamspaces, which again, I think this is going to be a relatively useful feature, Teamspaces.
Yeah. And I do really like, just from a UI perspective, you can now make folders of modules. So I could make like a customers folder and put like accounts, contacts, and deals in it. I can make an activities folder and put task meetings and calls in it, right? So that is really nice. Like, even if you just, like, let's say everyone on your team use CRM kind of the same, I would still make a team space just so I can use those folders and then just add everyone to it as the default one, because that's just a nice organizational tool that wasn't in the application before.
Maybe you're going to have to bring back from the dead the Zenatta way,
Yeah, there you go.
Way back in the day when 5-6 years ago, it would be like every time we'd go to a CRM, we'd basically clean up all the data, rearrange the data, set up all the modules in a certain way that made sense to pretty much everyone. I think that's going to be something with this as well. It needs to be an extension of that, because there's just going to be a lot that maybe is not obvious that I think people will want to set up.
Yeah.
So really cool stuff. Alrighty, and as always, all of this can be found over on our YouTube channel, where we hit 18,000 subscribers. And another angel.
Like, not long ago, we had an angel for this. That was a quick 1,000, it feels like.
We are now getting over 600 new subscribers a month. So it's going pretty cool. So if we do that out, we should finish the year at almost 22,000 subscribers. That's the way we're going. So thank you, everybody, for your support. We really, really, really appreciate it. So YouTube is where all of these things live. They also live in the resource library over on Zenatta.com. But if you would please subscribe to our YouTube channel, we would love it. All of our videos, and we are posting a lot. So we're not, almost a video a day, it seems like.
Trying to bump it up to 2 tip videos a week nowadays is kind of the goal, of like a Monday and a Wednesday rather than just the one.
Yeah. So you may want to, go ahead on over here. Odds are, if you're looking for anything, you've got a question, you're saying, how do I do this? At this point, with our 676 videos that we have posted on here, we probably have you covered. So,
and if we don't, leave a comment. I have been picking up comments and just recording videos on them. So definitely leave a comment. If we've not answered a certain question, we'll always try to. We can't get to everything, of course, but we do our best. If we see a comment that maybe pops up a couple times, it's like, okay, like probably time to record a video on that, because clearly, like, we don't have anything that's doing a great job at explaining it.
Yeah. Or better yet, head over to club.zenatta.com and, there you go. You've got, you can leave all your requests there in detail. So both places, YouTube, Club Z, wherever you want to go. All right, buddy. Well, that is a wrap. Another show is in the books, in the vault, in the can.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Yeah, in the can.
Yeah. Then they used to.
That's different.
Oh, in the can was a thing, because like a film got put in the can, it was done.
Okay, got it.
They used to come in those they came with those canisters.
Film?
Yes,
what is this film that you're talking about?
I know. I'm still. I looked at a hard drive.
Another whisker in your goatee just went gray as you said film.
Well, I know. It's so quick. It's so interesting how quick things go, because remember when you'd rip your DVDs and you'd put them on a hard drive and you could stream stuff. You'd have basically your own folder of all your DVDs. I looked at a hard drive the other day. It had like 1,000 movies on it. All my DVDs ripped. I'm like, well, there's hours and hours and hours of my life that was wasted, because now it's just at your fingertips. You used to have to figure out what app it's on. But anyway. All right. Well, with that wraps up the show. We want to thank everybody so much for joining us. As always, if you would like to talk to someone here at Zenatta, then head over to zenatta.com and click on book a meeting. We'd love to chat with you.
On the website is also where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. If you want that news delivered to your inbox every Monday morning, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. And last but not least, we always appreciate when you like and subscribe here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
Take care, everyone. And most importantly, when you're watching this video, we'd comment whether or not I should keep the goatee or lose the goatee. Okay, that's
only the true fans will get this question because it's in the outro. So it's their opinion that really matters.
You had to wait to the end. So thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.